All right, we're going to look at creating a unit circle. Please bear with my drawing here. So I'll start with a unit circle, but I want to have to do the vectors individually. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at the first quadrant. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a relationship that if I choose a point, let me start with a -30-degree angle here. So if we start with a 30-degree angle, and we have a point, this generates a right triangle. And the location of that point, the x and y direction, will end up being the cosine of theta, sine theta. So x, with the unit circle having a length of 1, is cosine theta, and y is sine theta. So as we work our way up the circle, we can take the values that we had for each degree, 30, 45, 60. But we want to kind of think what happens that if we rotate down to here on the x-axis, the y value is going to be 0. And so that gives us our first part of our unit circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the degrees and the radians. And then we're going to keep track of the sine and cosine values that come out. So at 0 degrees, 0 degrees and 0 radians, the value of sine or cosine is 1, because our x value is 1, and our value of sine is 0. So we'll make it as a coordinate pair. Now when I move up to 30 degrees, cosine was √3/2, and sine was 1/2. Now I'm going to get the 45-degree angle. Whoops, wrong tool. I'm going to bisect these. And this will be the 45-degree angle. So I'll put the angle here, 45 degrees, or pi over 4 radians. Oh, I guess I should put the radians for 30 degrees here. Let me just put them right on the underside of each angle for the first quadrant. So 45 degrees, or pi over 4, and 30 degrees, or pi over 6. And as we noted with our triangles, this is going to be √2/2, comma, √2/2, because the cosine value of 45 degrees is √2/2, and the sine value is √2/2. And then we're going to do the 60-degree. Again, wrong tool. Sorry about my tool switching here. And this is 60 degrees, or pi over 3 in radians. And we know the cosine of 60 degrees was 1/2, and the sine was √3/2. And then when we get here at 90 degrees, or pi over 2 radians, well, we have no x value anymore. and the sine is 1. And so we can build a unit circle by working our way through the values. These values now start repeating, and notice cosine drops from 1 to root 3 over 2 to root 2 over 2 to 1/2 to 0, and sine rises from 0 to 1/2 to root 2 over 2 to root 3 over 2 to 1. So wrong tool again. Keep hitting the button and it doesn't switch right away. There we go. Now, as we come from, and I'm now going to write on the other side of the angles here. So now I move into the second quadrant. X values will be negative, and the y values will be positive because we're still in our xy coordinate. And so this is now 120 degrees, or 2 pi over 3. And that's going to have the values of negative 1/2 for the cosine, and positive root 3 over 2 for the sine. We'll do the next 45-degree angle. Again, I keep getting the wrong tool. The two are right next to each other. Here we go. And so this is 135 degrees, or 3 pi over 4. And it's going to have the value of negative root 2 over 2 and positive root 2 over 2. All right, I'm just going to hit this tool like 5 times each time I go through here. Sorry, my unit circle's a bit hodgepodgey. And so now we're at 150 degrees, or 5 pi over 6. And we're at negative root 3 over 2 for cosine, and 1/2 for sine. And now we get over here and we're at 180 degrees, or pi radians, and cosine is negative 1 and sine is 0. And so here we have cosine decreasing from 0 to negative 1, and we have sine decreasing from 1 to 0. Now, this angle here will be 210 degrees. And both sine and cosine are negative. And so cosine's going to go to negative 3 over 2. And sine's going to go to negative 1/2. Then I get to my 45-degree angle, even though I drew it a little wonky. And this is at 200, I think it's right. Yep, I had the right color. 225 degrees, or 5 pi over 4. Cosine is now negative root 2 over 2, and sine is negative root 2 over 2. We get to this angle, which is 240 degrees, or 7 pi over 6. Cosine is now negative 1/2, and sine is negative root 3 over 2. We get to here, and we're at 270 degrees, or 3 pi over 2. And our cosine is 0, and our sine is negative 1. We come here and we're at 300 degrees, which is the same as 9. Let's see, 5 pi over 3? No, not 5 pi over 3. Ah! My computer's acting up on me. Let's see. So 300 degrees divided by 180, so divide both by 6. So 5 pi over 3. And now cosine is going to be positive because we're in the fourth quadrant. So it's a positive 1/2. Sine is still negative, so it's negative root 3 over 2. We come to the next bisecting 45-degree angle. And so this is 315 degrees. Whoops, I'm going to put this by the actual. 315 degrees, or 7 pi over 4. Cosine is positive, root 2 over 2. Sine is negative, root 2 over 2. And we get to 330 degrees, or 11 pi over 6. Cosine is still positive, root 3 over 2. And sine is negative 1/2. And then we come back to 360 degrees and 2 pi, and we've completed a period around the unit circle. So from these two shapes, a unit square and a unit equilateral triangle, we can actually develop the whole unit circle.